Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Cruz and welcome back to another video. This one, man, is probably one of my favorites. Today I'm gonna be reacting to your pedal boards. Let's get it. Before we get started, please do all of the things that help this channel grow. Like this video, comment, and subscribe below. Hit the bell notification icon so you get alerts every single time I upload a video. Without further ado, let's get started. Today might have been one of the most encouraging days that I've ever had while being here on YouTube. I posted on Instagram and on YouTube here, and I got a ton of responses. I mean, a lot more than I had anticipated. I honestly thought that I'd maybe get 1 or 2 submissions from you guys, and then I'd have to go to Instagram to find some great boards to review or to react to, but you guys came through to the point where, I'm not gonna lie, I may not be able to get to all of the submissions. We may need to make a part 2 to this video. I never thought I'd say that, but I got that many submissions, so first and foremost, thank you. Part of the reason why I'm doing this is because you guys know I recently took apart my pedal board. I will link the video up here. It's causing me to sort of rethink my approach to pedals and tone. So I've been looking at rigs again to kind of get a feel of what's out there. And there's no secret, my rig was a little bit outdated, but at the end of the day, I was happy with it. But now I'm just looking for something a little bit new, and I've been looking at pedal boards and figure, you know what? Send me your pedal boards. I want to see your pedal boards. I want to be inspired by your rigs. No more stalling. Let's react to your pedal boards. So the first submission came from Fernando Ramirez via Instagram. Please follow me if you're not doing so. So let's take a look at it. That guitar. I know I didn't ask for guitars, but I see it, Fernando. I see it. That Gretsch is looking real nice on you. Everything is sitting on a pedal board, tempo board, which has become very popular. Some familiar faces, some not so familiar faces. So I can kind of guess that that really cool looking pedal is probably some form of a Klon style pedal. Maybe it's a popular version, maybe not. Maybe answer that in the comment section for us, Fernando. But it's a really, really great rig. You got the Ego compressor, a win in my book. You got, of course, the Morning Glory, which is something that I personally use. It looks like you're using that Saturn knob there all the way to the left next to the Boss DD500 as your red switch. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it looks like that's what you're doing. You got the Angry Charlie there, which is the newer version, not the Andy Timmons version. The Boss DD500, you know I've reviewed. It was one of my first videos ever. And of course the HX Stomp, man. This is a killer rig. You have room to even grow on this pedal board. The only thing I'm unfamiliar with is that kind of strobe looking thing above your volume pedal. It's also like a little blurry as I zoom into it, so I'm not 100% sure what that is. I can only assume it's possibly a tuner, but who knows. Again, let us know in the comment section what that is, because I'm really interested. Man, great rig, great setup. Thank you so much, Fernando, for sending that in. Let's move on to the next submission, and that comes from Daniel. And Daniel, I am not going to attempt to pronounce your last name, so I'm just going to put it on the screen. Another amazing rig. Daniel, you and I have had conversations in the past, and I'm pretty sure you mentioned that you build rigs for people, and I can kind of see that. Look how neat this is, guys. I don't know if you did this or if it's professionally built. It looks like it's sitting on one of those brand new Vertex Effects 2-tier boards. Correct me if I'm wrong. So if it is, I wonder what you got under the hood there. Do you have any pedals? Just your power supply? Let us know. Let us know, Daniel. We're not seeing enough in this picture, but great choices so far. You have a Dunlop volume pedal. You got the Deep 6 compressor, which I absolutely love. You got the Julia, the old school Julia, a Pog. The thing that really sticks out to me about this rig is the Protein. That's one of the drives that I've had my eye on for a little while. Gotta admit, it's a little pricey for me, but I love the sounds that people are getting out of them. I'm not familiar with the pedal next to it. It looks very similar, so it's probably made by the same company, but I don't know everything that exists, so I'm interested. That's the one pedal that I want you to let me know, Daniel. What pedal is that? And do you have anything under the hood of that pedal board? You got the Benson preamp, the kit with the red switch, and of course the Strymon Timeline and Big Sky. Man, this is an absolutely phenomenal rig. I already know you're getting killer tones out of here, and don't think I didn't notice that Sonic Research tuner. Moving on, this was an email submission by Aaron Sanchez. Aaron, thank you so much for sending this in. This is a classy rig. Not just the rig itself, but the photograph, the way it's sitting on that rug, the aesthetic of the whole thing. Man, you nailed it. I'm really, really intrigued by your pedal board. You have similar pedals as the last two that we just reviewed there. You got the Ego compressor, you got the Big Sky, the Timeline. Of course, you got the HX Stomp, and that white HX Stomp, really, really killer, looks beautiful. But the one thing that's sticking out to me the most right now are your choices of overdrives. You got the Protein, and then you got the Broadcast. And I don't know what that Saturn pedal is. I don't know if I should know it. I think it says it's a harmonic booster. It seems to have drive in it and everything, so you're probably using it to boost of some sort, but I've never heard of it, so I'm interested. I'm gonna have to look that one up after this video. And man, that topper on your volume pedal, it looks killer on your board, man. Great rig. Thank you so much for sending that in. This next submission also came via email, and it's probably one of the submissions that rocked me the most, and it's from Kyle Yordy. I hope I'm saying your last name right, Kyle. Kyle, you submitted your 2 pedal boards, actually. You submitted your pedal board before you decided to switch over to the Helix, and they both are killer. But let's look at your pedal board before you switch to the Helix really quickly. You were using the HX Stomp, so you were doing a very similar thing to a lot of the pedal boards I looked at before yours, and of course my own. You got the TU2 chromatic tuner. It's a great tuner. The reason why you still see that tuner on a lot of people's pedal boards is not just because it's an accurate tuner, because it is, but also it has an internal buffer that's really, really amazing. Got the RC booster. I'm not sure what that small pedal is. I've of course recognized the T120 and the 1981. The drop, man, that's a funky pedal to have on here. I'm very interested in knowing what you use the drop for. So Kyle, my first question to you is, why do you use the drop? Why is it on your pedal board? What do you use it for? I'm very interested. I know how I would use it, but I definitely couldn't justify keeping it on my pedal board because I don't think I'd use it enough. But that's a really interesting pedal to have on here. Of course, you put a lot of emphasis on your delays and reverb because you keep them down low. That's a very interesting thing that I want to point out to everyone. Great rig. It looks like it may be sitting on a pedal train, so that's dope as well. Man, just really solid rig. But one of the main reasons why I kind of got rocked by Kyle's email was because he told me something that kind of put things back into perspective for me. For years and years now, I've had pretty much the same setup in terms of pedals. Part of that is because I became so frustrated with the tone search, you know, being obsessed with searching for pedals, searching for overdrives, constantly comparing my rig to other people's rigs. Even though I was getting tones that were either similar or even just as good as other people, I still felt like because I didn't have the pedals that they did, that maybe I was falling behind or something like that. And that became super bad for my mental, and I had to pull out of that. And so for a long time, I didn't pay attention, and that was evident. If you look at my pedal board, it remained pretty much stagnant for a long time. And without getting too into detail on Kyle's personal message to me, he kind of admitted to me that he was getting a little frustrated with that, and that's the reason ultimately why he switched to the Helix. Zooming into your Helix setup too, it's pretty dope. The Helix honestly makes setting up a rig so versatile. It's insane, man. So between your story and your setup, you're kind of like rocking my world a little bit, Kyle, man. Thank you so much for your submission, and thank you so much for your vulnerability in your email. Let's move on. NTPL Worship, you're back on my channel. Welcome back. You've submitted the rig again. I don't know if you guys are building your own rigs or not. I'm super jealous, okay, because your rig is super clean. Not only does it look nice, but it is just well put together in terms of the pedals that you've chosen. And you're kind of like scaring me a little bit because literally almost every single pedal you have on there, I either totally endorse or they've been on my radar. A lot of you don't know this, but I've been kind of searching, and I've really fallen in love with the Jackson Audio stuff, specifically the Bloom, the Broken Arrow, and the Golden Boy. And NTPL, you have it all. And I'm assuming you're using that Analog Endeavors MIDI controller to control all of that stuff via MIDI. You got the Specular Tempest stuff, 2 of them. Of course, you got the Boss DD5 going into the El Capistan, my personal favorite. And you're using some of the mirror stuff, which is really nice, man. This is a clean rig. You got everything labeled very nicely on your power supply as well. Great setup, wow. This next submission came via Instagram. Again, if you're not following me, please do. This one's from Gil Vega. Gil, you sent me a nice, tidy little rig. This is amazing, man. You got the mini sub up, which is really, really great. A nice alternative to an octave. If you're interested in those kind of sounds. You got the Exotic Effects SP compressor. Then you're going into a Morning Glory, highly endorse it. A Super Bolt, highly endorse it. You have the AT version of the Angry Charlie, which is amazing. You got a bunch of 2-in-1s from the Walrus Audio crew. You got the Spark. You even got a Ditto in there so you could loop. This is a great tidy rig, and it looks like it's sitting on a very small pedal train. Man, congratulations. It's nice and tidy. It must sound good. Thank you so much for submitting this rig. It looks amazing. This next rig came from Fernando de Baje. I hope I'm saying your last name correctly. Fernando, I'm not exactly sure where you're from, but you did write me in Spanish. So a quick shout out to all mi gente que habla español. Thank you so much for watching, even though I don't actually talk here in Spanish. It really means a lot. All right, you're the one person who sent me a full guitar and an amp in your photo. This is like a throwback rig photo, right? It's like the kind of photo we would take back in the day, like 5-7 years ago when you did rig photos on Instagram. So it looks like you're left-handed, unless the photo's flipped. That's an amazing guitar, man. You got a gold top PRS, really dope. You're using a Vox. I'm not entirely familiar with every single Vox model, but it looks like an AC15 if I'm not mistaken. But yet you still have an HX Stomp on your board, which tells me not only am I using some effects from the HX Stomp, but I could also go direct if I needed to. Really, really dope. You're going into a Tidy Whitey, which is one of those compressors that I think kind of flew under the radar a little bit by JHS. A double barrel, one of my all-time favorites. You have an AT as well on your board, the first version, an Andy Timmons version of the Angry Charlie. You got an EP booster, small volume pedal, the Boss DD500, love it, and of course the HX Stomp. I'm assuming you're probably using the HX Stomp for maybe some of your modulation effects and your reverb, because I don't see a reverb on your pedal board. You probably got it set up so you could either go direct or into an amp, or maybe even both, which is absolutely insanely smart. So thank you so much for sending that in, man. Really, really awesome rig. This next one quickly came from Alberto Lara, I believe is your last name. Forgive me if I said it wrong. Alberto probably sent one of the coolest moody looking photos I've seen in a really long time, but your rig looks absolutely dope in it. Looks like you start off going into the JHS Morning Glory, then into the Dude, and then into the Tumnus. That drive section is killer in my opinion. Then you have the El Capistan, you have the small volume pedal, then you got the HX Stomp, and then you have the Night Sky. That's the one question that I do have for you, Fernando. Let me know in the comment section what you think of it. I'm really, really intrigued by that. But what an amazing photo, by the way. I love the aesthetic. Thank you so much for sending that one in. This next pedal board comes from Andrew Stevens. He emailed me. Andrew, wow, what a incredibly packed pedal board. This is probably one of the larger pedal boards that got sent over to me. I mean, you pretty much have everything you could possibly need on a pedal board here. I've never actually seen this looper before, so I would have to kind of Google it and see what it's all about. You have the Riverside by Strymon, the Sunset. You got the Cali 76, the Rival Drive. You got the DD200, which is a great delay as well. The Mythical Overdrive, the Scarlet Overdrive. You got the double barrel, which is amazing. You got the Big Sky and the HX Stomp on here, and the Boss DD500 and the Boss MD500. Dude, you're covering pretty much every tone you could ever possibly ask for. I don't know what that big pedal on the left is. I'm trying to zoom in here. I can't quite figure out what it is. Let me know in the comment section. Obviously, the looper's sort of self-explanatory. I don't need to necessarily know who makes that, but that pedal all the way in the top left, I'm interested in knowing what that is. So Andrew Stevens, that is your homework for today. You got to comment on the comment section below and let me know what that thing is. Now, last but not least, I am not declaring a winner here because all of these rigs were fantastic. But this one came from Michael. Michael, I'm not going to say your last name. I'm going to put it on the screen though because I don't want to butcher it. Michael, you absolutely floored me with this rig. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a massive Office fan, and I'm not talking about the Netflix version of Office. I'm talking about every single week waiting for the newest episode on NBC. And you have an Office-inspired pedal board. You win, buddy. You win. There was no contest, but you win. You win as far as to totally supporting the Emerson M Drive, Office releases. You got the Scranton, you got the Mac 2, you got the Goldface. You're the absolute man. Not to mention, look at your volume topper. You can go low like Phyllis, or you can do Did I Stutter and have it all the way up. Dude, you're the man for that. Everything is sitting on looks like a Tempest pedal board, which is amazing. You two are using the HX Stomp. You also have the Sailor Quartz on there. Michael, you can clarify this in the comment section for me if you want to, but I believe that you have it on there for the same reasons that I might have it on there. Using a tap tempo on your rig is all nice and great, but at the end of the day, it's also really convenient to be able to save a ton of tempos, especially if you play with a lot of click tracks, like maybe you play for a home church and your home church constantly uses click tracks. The Sailor Quartz also has the ability to have MIDI in, so like let's say you run click tracks and you have Ableton, you can actually run a MIDI cable from Ableton out to feed your Sailor Quartz, and therefore when Ableton makes tempo changes, it'll change on the Sailor Quartz. So it's a really great piece of gear to have. Forget all that. The theme of the pedal board is what wins for me, man. Thank you. so much for submitting this picture. Wow, this was like the most packed video I've done in a really long time. Who knows how long this video is going to end up being, but I wanted to get all of your submissions in there. There are a few people who actually are still messaging me, so it may not make this video, but I definitely will consider making a part 2 to this. You've inspired me a lot in which direction I think I want to take my pedal board journey. As you guys know, I don't currently have a pedal board, but I've definitely been on the pedal hunting journey lately, so definitely look out for upcoming videos. But you know what, I'm also not going to forget the words of Kyle. I'm going to not jump into the rat race too much. I'm not going to compare my rig. I'm going to come up with a good rig that I think sounds good, feels good, and keep it for a long time. Again, thank you all so much for submitting. Those of you who emailed me or DM'd me, feel free to continue to do that. Keep the relationships that we're building. I have no problems talking gear and emailing back or messaging back as soon as I can. It's been a pleasure. I think I'm a little intimidated. Your rigs are far more superior than mine. So much better than I thought these rigs would be. Wow, amazing. Again, do all of the things that help this channel grow. Like this video, comment below, hit the bell notification icon so you get notifications every single time I upload a video. Feel free to check out some of the affiliate links, and if you want to donate directly to this channel, there's a link in the description box below that will allow you to do so. Thanks again for watching, and until next week.